So welcome to the social media updates for October 2024. My name is Alison Battersby and I am the social media consultant and founder of Avocado Social. Avocado Social is a social media consultancy based in the UK with over 10 years of experience working with a wide range of fantastic British and global brands, and you can see just a few of those there on the slide. We offer social media consultancy, training, and mentoring, as well as running paid and organic campaigns for our clients. So if you're interested in any of our services, then do drop me an email at the end of the session and I'll be sharing my contact details for you then. So let's get straight into it then. What are the key social media updates that you need to know about for 2024? Well, we're going to be taking a whistle-stop tour through all of the top social media platforms and what's been going on each, including YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, which doesn't usually appear, TikTok, YouTube again, X, and lots of tips for any advertising campaigns that you may well be running this festive period ahead as well. As I've said, we will be opening up the floor to Q&A at the end of today's session. So if you do have a question for me, you're so welcome to ask and you can just drop that in the chat. But let's get started. YouTube has been going through quite a few changes in order to catch up with some of its competitor platforms, including TikTok and Instagram. So we've seen quite a lot of updates with the vertical video format, YouTube Shorts, this month. One of the biggest changes we've seen is that you can now upload YouTube Shorts that are up to 3 minutes long. Previously, this was capped at 60 seconds, but YouTube has now decided to catch up with TikTok and Instagram and offer slightly longer form content in this vertical mode. Let's have a quick look at what YouTube has to say about the matter.
How long are shorts on YouTube? 3 minutes. Wait, what? Why? We've heard from creators that they need a bit more space in shorts to tell their story. So we're going to enable the duration up to 180 seconds.
What about existing vertical VODs that are up to 3 minutes?
All of those are going to stay as they were, and this is a go forward change. So after the date that we release this, those videos that are square or taller and up to 180 seconds will be eligible for being recommended in the shorts feed.
And how are you going to handle recommendations between short shorts and these new longer shorts?
Yeah, we've gotten pretty good at recommending videos under 60 seconds. They may be shorter and found in a faster paced feed. They might be longer, around a minute. And so in the coming months, we're going to be investing in improving our recommendations so that we get really good at recommending videos up to 180 seconds.
So tell great stories.
Tell a great story.
So there's the update from YouTube. I quite like the phrase shorter shorts and longer shorts. Started to get a little confusing. I thought this was a great tip from friend of Avocado Social, Will Francis, who said this is your reminder to dig into yours or your client's archive of Reels and TikToks that are longer than 3 minutes and queue them up for your YouTube Shorts. That are shorter than 3 minutes. So if you've got some top performing content on Reels or TikTok that you think might work well for YouTube, then download that, get that ready to go and get it out on YouTube Shorts and just play around with the platform, see what kind of content works, because you never know what will be successful over on YouTube. So there have been a few other updates on YouTube Shorts this month. YouTube has been pushing a very similar offering to the remix or template feature over on TikTok. This is where you see a short that you like and you basically want to kind of copy the same template of how that short is edited. You can easily recreate the magic by using the Use Template button, and that will then enable you to drop your own clips into that same edit with the same music and the same filters. So this is just another way that YouTube is really encouraging its users to create more content on the platform. They're making it easier for you to essentially use clips that you're seeing other people use. They are also offering the remix button. So you can use bits of other people's content on YouTube, maybe film your response to a video. And it's generally just making that content creation a lot easier on YouTube. The other thing that YouTube Shorts are leaning into is trends. So this is something that YouTube hasn't really done before, but we've started to spot the trending logo appear at the bottom of the name of the creator who has filmed that video. So it looks like trends are going to become quite a big thing on YouTube in Shorts. So if something is trending, whether that's the template that they've used, the music that they've used, or the filter that they've used, there will be a little trending and the fire emoji at the bottom. You can then tap on that trend and discover, what is hot in your country. And you can also have a go at creating your own version of content that uses some of that trend, like that music as well. So all of these features have been stolen from other platforms like Reels and TikTok, but it just shows that YouTube really is prioritizing Shorts at the moment and sees it as its biggest kind of growth opportunity in order to catch up with the other platforms. So you can have a little look through what kinds of things are trending now fairly easily just by clicking on that trends button that should appear in your YouTube Shorts video feed. The other thing that we've started to notice on YouTube is that if you're not really kind of enjoying seeing the shorts so much in your feed, you can actually choose to see fewer shorts. So there is now an option using the 3 dots on your YouTube home feed where you can actually ask to see fewer shorts and see more of that longer form horizontal content. So I would suggest that it's probably a good idea to keep shorts in your feed as you're just trying to explore what's working well and what's trending. But some users might still want the traditional long form content that YouTube is known for. So they have acknowledged this by adding in this show fewer shorts button. And one more update about YouTube is that they are testing a save button for shorts as well, which is again quite surprising when you hear that this is something that they don't currently offer. They're testing a new save button in order to make it easier for users to save shorts that they've seen. And they will also move the dislike button from the main Shorts user experience. So when you open up Shorts and you see all of the engagement buttons at the side of the videos, there is a big dislike button. So they're actually testing moving that away, making it less prominent. You can still dislike a short and share that feedback, but you can't do it from the main user interface of the Shorts feed. This is an experiment that they're rolling out to a small number of viewers, but they're going to keep us updated on how the test progresses. And as a social media manager, I'm saving so much content all the time in my feeds on any social platform. So having a save button on YouTube Shorts is definitely a really good one for me. If you haven't experimented much with YouTube Shorts yet, then I definitely would suggest taking up Will's tip there and uploading some of your older Reels and TikTok content on YouTube just to see how it performs. Maybe you've got some longer form content that you could clip up and take edits out of in that vertical format that might work well on Shorts. But you're not going to know what works until you upload quite a few videos and start to look at the stats. So it's a really good time to be testing it ahead of your 2025 strategy. Instagram is testing a new best practice hub. Some of you may have seen this one in your professional dashboard within Instagram. So to access this best practices hub, you just need to go to your profile, tap on professional dashboard, and in there you will see a new section called best practices. This is to help creators optimize their content, and it analyzes your activity and makes bespoke suggestions around content creation, engagement, reach, monetization, and guidelines. So there's quite a few general tips that are in there that are things you've probably heard before, but there's also personalized tips that you can find, such as whether you're on the right track of how many pieces of content you are creating. There's things around hashtag advice, topic advice. There's content around making sure the first 3 seconds of your video are the most engaging. There's some tips on whether or not you could monetize your videos. And also, there's tips on how to grow your followers as well. So, definitely worth taking a look at, particularly if that is some of your focus for your Instagram platform. One of the things that Instagram is massively pushing as a tip at the moment is making sure those first few seconds of your video are as engaging as possible. So I keep hearing the phrase, the first 3 seconds, the first 3 seconds. And that's where you need to introduce a really valuable hook in your video. That is one of the tips that the best practices section on Instagram has been telling me to do recently. So I've been really trying to improve my hooks and introductions to videos. So we don't usually talk about Facebook because, to be honest, there aren't usually a huge amount of new features on Facebook to discuss, but we shouldn't disregard it because it is the world's most used social media platform. It's the one that gets the highest amount of monthly active users still globally and here in the UK. So even though people maybe don't use it in the same way that they used to, they are still active on the platform. And Facebook has decided to go for a little bit of a redesign. TechCrunch are identifying this as their Gen Z redesign. But on the app, you may find that there is a new interface that's being tested. Some of you might have this, some of you might not. They're basically testing a few new features to make it a bit less overwhelming when you log into Facebook, because there's so many different elements that you do see when you log in. One of the most interesting updates is by having this new local and explore tab. So these two new tabs will pull together content from all of the different areas of Facebook. So, for example, in the local content, you'll be able to see content from Reels, Marketplace, groups, and events, all local to you. So it's basically just pulling in everything that's really, really relevant to you in that feed. In the Explore tab, again, it will pull in lots of different elements. So you'll be able to see videos, Reels, Marketplace, groups, events, all to do with things that you're likely to be interested by. And of course, that is down to things that Facebook knows about us based on what we click on and what we talk about. So really interesting to see this new redesign. And I think, again, it just reinforces Facebook's place in the marketplace of social media platforms as a really good place to know what's going on. So a lot of people go to Facebook to make plans, to see what's happening in the local area, to see what their friends and family are up to. And they are recognizing this by pulling together these big new feeds of content. Another thing that they're doing, which I think is a really good update, is they're introducing a fully up-to-date video tab. So this is much more of a seamless video experience. You can see the difference between over on the left, if you look under the word video, you have at the moment a segregated approach to video on Facebook. You've got live video, you've got reels, you've got video from people you're following. It's a little bit messy and complicated. Whereas over on the right-hand side, there will be a new tab just called video. And this will include short form content, long form content, live video. You'll basically be able to scroll through it like you would the Reels feed or like you would on YouTube Shorts. And it's much more seamless. The other thing to note is that this is going to be a full screen video tab. So make the most out of full screen content here. You can see over on the right hand side the difference between posting something full screen and posting something horizontal, which appears with these huge blank spaces above and below the video and just doesn't look that great. So it will be very much a vertical first format that will be preferred by Facebook, and I'm sure will be preferred by the algorithms. So that's a good one to note. At the moment, as you scroll through Facebook, you've got kind of separation between video content, reels, you've got live content weaved in there, but it's in these separate elements, which is sometimes quite hard to navigate. So I'm looking forward to seeing this new seamless video feed. And I think it further reiterates the point that you need to be thinking vertical first for all your social video content. We've seen some updates on TikTok too. I know quite a few of you are TikTok users. So a few things to note regarding your captions. TikTok has just upgraded its captions within the platform, giving you far more access to using different styles and using different emojis, using different colors. Typically, these kinds of captions are created using a standalone app, which is called CapCut. I know I was discussing CapCut recently at an event with a few people. CapCut really is, I think, the best video editing app out there on the market, which is free as well. At Avocado Social, we do use the Pro version, which gives you access to further customization of fonts, including brand colors, more interesting transitions and edits. But the free version is absolutely fine, particularly if you're just getting started in terms of video editing. CapCut is actually owned by ByteDance, who are the owners of TikTok. So it is the same company. So what they've been doing is integrating more of the CapCut design features into the TikTok app. So I wonder whether this is a bid to encourage more people to do the editing just live in TikTok. Maybe it's just the fact that they think, well, why are we sending people over to CapCut to do this when they could just simply be doing it in TikTok? So I'm not quite sure what the thinking is behind it, but if you are using the free CapCut version, the good news is that, you know, a lot of these features are now just going to be in TikTok. So look out for those. I wonder whether this will prompt YouTube and Instagram Reels to further enhance their editing suite within the apps. Because there are a lot of creators out there right now that use standalone apps like Adobe or CapCut or Mojo in order to do their editing before they then post on the platforms. Another thing to note that TikTok is doing is they are rolling out 2 new features for captions. These are trending fonts and trending text animations. So trending fonts will show us basically which fonts are being mostly used across the world, which we've never seen before in terms of a social media platform offering. So I think trending fonts is definitely something that the other platforms would probably introduce at some point as well. And then also these text animations. So a text animation is where you add a little bit of movement to a word or a phrase that you have added on your video. So that could be flashing or a bit of a shimmer, or maybe it whizzes into screen. So these are animations which are widely available on CapCut, and TikTok is now introducing them into the editing software within the app, which is really interesting to see. And I'm thinking about 2025 trends at the moment and making some predictions, but I do think trending fonts and trending text animations are probably going to be something we see more widely across the other social media platforms too. Heading back into YouTube, YouTube is actually starting to test searching from the comments. So, this is something that we have seen on TikTok before, where a phrase or a term is used by somebody in a comment. And because the platform has identified that there's actually a lot of content around that word or phrase, they've made that word or phrase clickable. So, a user can click on that and then see all of the videos that are available on the platform to do with that comment. So this is just another of those further moves more into discoverability and being able to explore related topics within the social sites. This is quite a big move in terms of social SEO and further reinforces the importance of SEO, so that's search engine optimization, within the social platforms. So this is very similar to the TikTok feature. You can see on the left-hand side there that certain words of these destinations in Romania have been hyperlinked. A user can then click on that hyperlink and see all of the video content around that particular, in this case, tourist destination. There are a couple of challenges that this could pose though. So it could distract viewers and reduce retention rates, particularly if there's loads of kind of interesting commentary happening. It could send people off on those rabbit holes quite easily. It also means that as a creator, you don't have any control over which comments become clickable. So it could be that YouTube starts sending people towards unrelated content or competing content. So this is a test at the moment. It's not something that's definitely here to stay, but just something to keep an eye out for, particularly if you have got a big kind of YouTube strategy at the moment. It's just keeping an eye on those comments and seeing if any words are being made searchable and clickable, and which words and phrases those are. But on the topic of SEO in social, we're seeing a lot of updates at the moment from TikTok in particular, as it really does start to make a power play against Google. So lots and lots of people are saying that YouTube is kind of losing its gain in the search industry and losing out to TikTok because younger people are going to TikTok to search for things. So that will be a big one to look at for 2025. And if YouTube is on your list of things to be sorting out for 2025, then you do need to be considering your SEO strategy there. As usual, there are, of course, some new Instagram tests that I wanted to reference in today's updates. I feel like Instagram and TikTok are the two platforms that are constantly testing new features, and there always seems to be a new label every time you log in. So one of the things that Instagram is testing, and this is a test, it's not available to everyone yet, is they are allowing users to make collages in stories. So this is a new way to share multiple photos in a single photo dump. So what you would do is, I suppose it reduces the amount of stories that you would be posting, particularly if you were at an event that day and you wanted to post like 20 stories. There's actually quite a lot of research that says after 7 stories, that's when people generally tend to switch off and just swipe past your profile. So 7 seems to be quite a magic number when it comes to how many stories are the maximum limit that you should do in a day. I'm sure some of you are thinking, wow, 7's a lot, whereas I know other people that just do stories and do far more than 7 a day. So this option is a new way to share multiple photos. This is basically, really responding to this kind of photo dump trend. And there are 3 new ways that people will be able to share multiple photos. So these are 3 layout options that Instagram is testing. I'm afraid I can't show you what those 3 layout options are because it is a limited test. So we just haven't seen a huge amount of visuals around that. But if you look slightly in the background of this photo, it looks like one of those options will actually be a collage where you've got multiple squares ready to put content into, which would be a really nice way just to kind of show the highlights of maybe a day or day in the life behind the scenes of a product launch, or maybe at a conference or event that you've been using recently. This taps into the photo dump trend, which we mentioned in last month's update, where you can now upload up to 20 images as part of a multi-image carousel. So if you haven't given that one a go yet, I would definitely recommend it. The other update that we're about to see our favourite Adam Mosseri talk about, who is the CEO of Instagram, is the ability to edit the crop of a thumbnail on a reel. So this was a question that was asked, can you do this? Can you edit the thumbnail once you've posted a reel? So let's see what Adam says. The captions are actually wrong because he says you can do this, but the caption says can't. So listen carefully.
You can actually edit the thumbnail after posting a reel. What you can't do yet is edit the crop of the thumbnail in the grid. So that's something that we're looking into. You can actually edit.
So that's a really useful update, actually. I don't know about you, but I've definitely realized once I've posted a reel that I could actually improve the thumbnail on it. And thumbnails are becoming more and more important on Instagram. So if a thumbnail doesn't look quite right, what Adam's saying there is you can edit it and swap it out for another photo. What you can't do at the moment is edit the crop. So if it's cropped slightly weirdly, you can't fix that at the moment, but that is something that they are looking into. So that would be good news. Moving on to TikTok's growth, we have seen some recent stats that TikTok's growth is beginning to slow. Nothing too alarming to worry about, but let's jump into the figures. So data, according to a recent report from Dash Hudson, shows that actually looking at Q3 last year versus Q1 this year and Q2 of this year as well, you can see the percentage there dropping ever so slightly in terms of worldwide monthly follower growth for brand accounts. So this is looking at brand accounts who have more than 1,000 followers on TikTok. So a monthly growth rate now is around 3.7%. This is down from 5.3% of last year. So do kind of just bear that in mind when you're making predictions, perhaps of KPIs of how many followers you think you can achieve in 2025. 3.7% is the global average for any account that has more than 1,000 followers. The other thing to note is there are 1.04 billion users expected to be on the TikTok app by the end of 2024. There is a 9.4% year-on-year growth rate expected for TikTok. That is slightly down from the 13% of last year and the 20% growth rate in 2022. So even though growth is still, roughly around 10%, it definitely is beginning to slow as competition on the app becomes higher. More and more brands now have a TikTok, even if they're not maybe actively using it. Just having a presence there has been quite useful for a lot of brands, especially if they're being tagged in content from influencers. So if you're thinking, yes, 2025 is the year to get loads of followers on TikTok, just bear in mind that it is harder to get followers as it is on every other platform. And just really thinking strategically about your content on the platform, because of course TikTok does need its own unique content strategy. So as usual, I do tend to share some of the latest X stats because many of our clients are on X or are interested to know what the growth rates and user stats are like at the moment. So recently, a report from the well, it was reported by the Financial Times, but the data was actually from a company called SimilarWeb, shows that active daily users in the UK have dropped. It was 8 million a year ago. It's now 5.6 million. So there has been a decline in daily active users on X here in the UK. Of course, we've also seen a drop across Europe as well. So there has been a recent report that came out covering the first 6 months of 2024, which states that there has been a 5% decline in EU users as well. So I'm hearing on the ground and just seeing in the stats from our client reports that X, the engagement is, really, really difficult to get unless it is, something incredibly negative or a news story which is trending. So it's harder to get your kind of general sales and product information out on X as it becomes more and more of a place for perhaps, dangerous conversations to take place. A lot of brands, including some NHS organisations, have put their hands up and said, do you know what, X isn't working for us anymore, we're leaving the platform. But Threads still hasn't quite got itself together as being, the big competitor to X. Although we are seeing a lot of daily updates on Threads, a lot of new features to help them get ready to be the big X competitor. And a lot of people are predicting that next year we will see Threads become a lot more mainstream as an app. So we shall see. So what is X doing in terms of responding to this? Well, I personally think this looks really desperate, but they are beginning to pay creators to post on the platform. So they are looking to get some, influential people to actually start creating in order to get revenue on the platform. So I just don't think that's a great look from X, to be honest. So we'll see how well that goes as an experiment. A nice update that's come out this month from LinkedIn is giving you a little bit more insight as to how people are finding your personal profiles. So I quite like this one, which provides brands and creators huge insight into how people are discovering their profiles. And it helps you just make a few more decisions around what kind of posts or your frequency, or maybe if you need to tweak your profile. So you can see the options there are people finding you from feed, from messages, from LinkedIn search, from the homepage, from people similar to you. So particularly if you are using LinkedIn as a lead generation tool, any kind of sales or HR related tool, this is a really interesting new feature and definitely one worth taking a look at. I had a look earlier today and I'm seeing quite a bit of a mix as to people coming through search, which is great, shows that my profile has good search capabilities, nice SEO optimized profile. People also finding me through the feed because I've been posting quite a lot on LinkedIn recently. So that's definitely increased people finding me through feed as well. So if you're receiving lots of traffic, then you know that that's working well. Your profile is being found. If you're finding that you're just not getting many views, then I would definitely be looking at optimizing your profile ready for 2025 and increasing your posting over on LinkedIn too. So one of the things that has come out ahead of the festive period is Meta has revealed some top tips that are working well for Reels ads at the moment. Reels ads are a really interesting format because they are fully vertical, as we've been discussing, fully full screen, immersive. They are one of the most interesting types of ad that you can purchase on Meta at the moment because they are probably the most sought after pieces of content, but they are not being made enough. So not enough brands are creating Reels ads. So what that means is that they're actually really cheap to run at the moment. So if you are thinking of launching your festive campaigns, or maybe you've already got them started, well done, then I would definitely be considering Reels ads as a format to use. 60% of the time spent on Facebook and Instagram is now on video, which I think is really interesting that Facebook's making that change to the video feed so that we can see it all in one place. 3.5 billion reels are shared every day on Facebook and Instagram. 87% of Gen Z have followed a business after watching a reel, and 80% of Gen Z have purchased a product after watching a reel as well. So in this new guide from Meta, which you can find in the resources for this video, so we'll pop it in the show notes in the About section on YouTube, is that they want your reel ads to be entertaining, so something quite eye-catching, quite unique, different, digestible, so basically really short, and relatable. So you can make your ads more relatable by featuring customers or people who are reviewing your products. Some other tips that they've shared is, of course, build for vertical. I can't reiterate this enough that all of the platforms just want you to be using a vertical video. Build with audio, so think carefully about royalty-free audio you can use for your ads. You can find a lot of that royalty-free audio within Meta in the dashboards when you're creating your ads, or I use a third-party tool called Epidemic Sound, which actually feeds into Canva as well. If you're using Canva Pro, there's a big music library on there which is provided by Epidemic Sound. So you want something that's royalty free, and also you want to build in that safe zone. So the safe zone is basically areas of reels where there aren't going to be overlaid text or like buttons. So you want to avoid anything at the bottom because that's where your profile picture comes up. That's where the call to action button is, and that's where the caption is. You also want to avoid some of the areas on the right hand side there where the like, comment and share button are. So basically putting your call to action or any text on your video right in the middle is the safe zone. So do consider that when you're coming up with creative. Really, really important. And I've seen so many great brands not considering safe zones and having like really important logos or product names cut off because they haven't understood, you know, where those design areas are. So what I thought I'd do is actually share a couple of examples of some fantastic Reels ads that we've spotted. These are two brands that are really growing at such a fantastic rate at the moment, and that's really thanks to social media. So the two brands that I wanted to look at are Trip Drinks, of which I'm a big fan, and also Runner, the app. So two of the top 20 startups of 2024 as put together by LinkedIn recently. Let's take a quick look at these ads and then discuss what works well.
Attention to anyone who is feeling stressed right now. Trip's latest and greatest variety pack is finally here. This new pack contains all 6 of their most loved flavors, with each and every can crammed full of natural adaptogens and botanicals to help you feel less stressed and more you. You'll find ingredients like magnesium, ashwagandha, and lion's mane to help you unwind and relax, with delicious flavor combinations like peach ginger and blood orange rosemary. Each can is lightly sparkling, under 27 calories, and has no added sugar. It is no wonder that Trip Drinks keeps getting the Great Taste Awards. If you're looking for a new and delicious way to unwind, give Trip's new variety pack a try. Cheers.
So great script there. I don't know whether that's an employee or an influencer, but a very good hook in the first couple of seconds of that video, and a really good voiceover featuring lots and lots of important points about the brand. Let's take a look over on the other side at Runner.
I live for those post-run endorphins. If you're like me and you love the buzz of getting a new personal best, then I highly recommend getting a personalized plan with the Runner app that's tailored to your running goals, and based on your current running ability. This way, you can really focus on the running and leave the planning to the experts. It wasn't until I completed my own Runner 8-week 10K improvement plan that I managed to shave off 12 minutes of my PB time, which has made me realize I can push myself further with running. And I've just signed up for my first half marathon. If you're a runner too, wanting to see results, I highly recommend getting the Runner app and filling in their quick onboarding questionnaire to get your plan.
Another great ad, lots of short, fast edits. We've got screenshots of the app. I also love the phrase, if you're a runner too, so making it really relevant to that audience. And of course, we also had the captions on the video, which I thought were done in a really engaging way as well. So some nice examples there. And then just two more for you as well, just to get those creative juices flowing. We've got another one from Trip.
Can is being sold every second. Trip is the viral drink at the moment. Let me tell you what everyone is going mad over. They're packed with powerful botanicals and adaptogens that help you unwind and de-stress naturally. Whether you're at home relaxing, powering for your workday, or just in a moment of calm, Trip is the perfect way to chill. No alcohol, no added sugars, and there's under 27 calories per can. Trip have just brought out their new variety pack with all of the best flavours. I think all of them are so delicious and refreshing. So why not join the Trip movement? Grab yourself a variety pack at www.drink-trip.com. Trust me, your chill time just got an upgrade.
So again, highly relevant, very engaging, and a nice mix of pieces to camera and voiceover in one video. And then the final example is another one from Runner.
You want to take your running to the next level? Then watch this. I never thought I'd be running half marathons, but here I am, and it's all thanks to Runner. A couple months ago, I downloaded the app, chose a running goal, and Runner created a personalized training plan based on my availability and current fitness levels. I do longer runs on the weekend and shorter runs during the week. It's super easy, and I'm so proud to have just completed my first half marathon. Go try it yourself.
So again, a bit of B-roll content of her running around, and then on top of that, we had the overlays of the app as well, so we could actually see it and visualize it. So no wonder both of those companies are both doing really, really well at the moment. They've got a nice variety of lots of different Reels ads live. One of the tips that Meta is also suggesting is to use lots of different creatives. Don't just rely on one video or one graphic to do the work, but have multiple edits in the same campaign so that you can really find out what works well. So that's our top trends for this month, but I did want to add a little extra bonus tip because this is something that has actually only recently come to light for me. So this was pointed out by a client recently on a coaching call. That Apple is now adding a service fee on top of your boosted posts. So if you're boosting on the Instagram app or the Facebook app, you might find as an Apple user, you are now being added up to 30% in fees. So this is, obviously quite a large amount, particularly if you're spending like £50 or £100 on a boosted post. So there are certainly ways around it. It started in February 2024. So it's probably fully rolled out now. So you should probably see this if you're an Apple user. You can avoid that by boosting your posts within Ads Manager on the dashboard. So not using your phone at all in that process. Or you can also boost on Instagram.com now as well. So Meta brought out some alternative ways for you to avoid those charges.